Welcome back. You're watching Open Line. I'm Kyle Horan. Just a reminder, we've got two representatives from the state legislature on today. We've got Representative Mike Stewart, Representative Jeremy Faison. One is representing the Democratic caucus. The other is representing the Republican caucus. We've been talking to them all day today for the past half hour, but we're going to go straight to some calls right now. We've got Ann on the line. Ann, can you hear me?
Yes. When he returned from the hospital, President Trump, instead of going to check on his wife and son, hesitated and not only once, but twice had a video taped for an ad, I presume. When he this morning, after reviewing last night's debate, not only referred to Miss Harris as a monster, but a communist. Obviously, our president, who is running for re-election, has a problem with women. As he has obviously had problems with others of color in the past. Convince me, the 65-year-old woman who is autoimmune compromised and has been a shut-in since February, who has been wearing her mask faithfully and has watched over the last 7 days the innocent people who have contracted COVID-19 because our president thought he was too good himself to wear a mask, stand 6 feet apart, and wash his hands, and respect the lives of the people whose space he invaded. Not them invading his, but the space that he invaded. Their personal space, and the space that they took home to their spouses, their children, their aunts, their uncles, their grandchildren, their wives, their parents. And the fact that his White House has done no contact tracing, no information at all has been shared with those families.
And do you have a question for our two guests?
Yes, and then convince me why I should vote for Donald Trump on November 3rd.
Okay, thank you, Ann. Representative Faison, do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. So, wow, a lot going on. I'm not sure if I got a clear question, but I'll try to go back to the beginning. She was worried that our president did something before he checked on his wife and son. I don't know how we could derive what he's done and the conversation that's been going on between them. I feel like that was complete judgment and error on your part. Next, I heard you talk about he's racist. You know, the interesting thing when I hear somebody call our president racist, that's kind of a go-to for liberals and Democrats. The truth is before he ran for president, he was never considered to be a racist. As a matter of fact, he was very much a leader in equality, in racial equality, social equality. I think you'd find out the very first huge building he built, he had a female that was the engineer of the building, the designer of the building. He has proven all before he became president, up until almost 4 years ago, that he was opened up to humans. He didn't see color that way or sex that way. He was open up to allow everybody to express who they were. So, I just fundamentally reject this notion that somehow he's racist because that's what the liberals can say today. Furthermore, I find it very impressive that the president of the country is fighting the disease, but he wants to show the country their strength. And you know what's important for you and for me on that is there's other people in this world who would love to take out America, and they want to see a very weak president. But you know what they've seen? They've seen a president who's strong. And if I wanted to elect a nice guy who would just be a gentle soul and not fight back when a woman calls him a racist or this or that, I would have elected a nice guy, but we didn't. I want a fighter. I want somebody in the White House who will fight relentlessly for me and push back against the socialist agenda, the enemies, foreign and domestic, and push what America is great about, the individual freedoms and liberty. And that's exactly what he does. It's offensive to some people, I don't find it offensive. I find I like to have a fighter fighting on my behalf.
All right. Representative Stewart, did you want to say anything to that, or should we move to the next caller?
There's two thoughts. One, that's a strange thing. President Trump has portrayed himself as a fighter and a man of action. And that's what makes his complete failure with COVID so strange. I mean, that's an area where a president could have stepped in and actually had a significant impact fighting this virus, as other countries have done successfully. He chose to sit around and do nothing for months on end while he knew full well the threat that the virus posed. He actually made light of it, said it would disappear on its own. And I don't know how you explain that. I don't know why he did not take COVID seriously in the same way that he's taken other things seriously. But it was a colossal failure that has cost us thousands of lives. Really, it's like a war imposed on our country through bad policy. With respect to racism, what really matters about a president is what his policies are. And regardless of President Trump's personal attitudes, I won't pretend to know them. The fact of the matter is, in a public debate watched by over 50 million people, President Trump very clearly refused to denounce white supremacy, and that's because he believes that in order to get elected, he has to not condemn white supremacy. And he had the opportunity. It was a very direct question. He evaded it. Everybody saw him do it. And that speaks volumes about President Trump. And when he does that, he's again changing the politics of our country.
Looks like we may have lost Representative Stewart again.
Can I answer that real quick?
Yeah, sure. Just go 30 seconds real quick because I want to get to another caller.
Just quick 30 seconds. I find it very interesting that this is a president who has pardoned and got out of prison and done more for criminal justice reform that impacts the minority communities more than anything than any other president. And the vice president, or Kamala Harris, she's done more to hurt minorities than anybody else ever running for president. So just wanted to make sure we clarify those two things. Let's take the next call.
All right, thank you. We're actually going to throw to break, and then we're going to take Caleb when we come back, okay? So stay on the line. Thank you for watching Open Line. We're talking about the vice presidential debates. We have Representative Faison, we have Representative Stewart on with us. We'll be right back.